Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Anna Manuel. The 23rd Congressional District has a special election and a Republican primary coming up in late August. Our Maggie Hall has everything you need to know before heading to the polls.
The 23rd Congressional District covers most of the southern tier. The seat was left officially vacant in May 2022. Former Congressman Tom Reed resigned due to allegations of sexual misconduct. When Reed resigned, he made this comment on the House floor. It has been an honor to serve with you all from both parties. I love this institution as it still exemplifies what is best about our government. We are the people's house. Joe Zeldin is the current chairman of the Republican Party of Steuben County and is on the ballot for this special election. He joined me today to talk about what folks need to know about this special election.
Yeah, it's a little confusing. We're voting at a weird time and we have a weird situation. So the election is August 23rd, and nobody's ever voted in August before. So August 23rd, I think I say those two words more than anything else, so I'm out campaigning.
The special election isn't the only election happening that day.
There's two elections happening. So there's a primary election for registered Republicans in this area between Mr. Langworthy and Mr. Palladino, and then there's a special election between myself and the Democratic nominee.
Mr. Zeldin also clarified the district lines for the upcoming elections.
The election I'm in, the special election, is to finish the current term under the old district lines, and the primaries for who will be the Republican nominee for the new district for the next 2 years.
Max Deliapia, Zeldin's Democratic opponent, was contacted by Big Fox. He was unavailable for comment on the special election at this time. For more information on either election, visit elections.newyork.gov or contact the New York State Board of Elections at 518-473-5086. Maggie Hall, Big Fox News, Corning.
Republican gubernatorial candidate Lee Zeldin is coming under fire for accusations that his campaign photocopied 11,000 election petition signatures. The signatures were collected in order to get Zeldin on the independent line in the upcoming election. Democratic State Senator Zeldin Myrie filed a complaint to the Albany County District Attorney's Office to investigate the signatures. Myrie listed multiple charges, including forgery, that claims the members of Zeldin's campaign could be convicted of. A spokesperson for the Zeldin campaign stated the campaign wasn't aware of any photocopies and that they certainly didn't make any photocopies themselves. Yesterday, Governor Hochul announced resources for counties in regards to domestic terrorism. This announcement was made virtually at the Threat Assessment and Management Summit hosted by the State Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services. Counties are expected under Executive Order 18 to develop domestic terrorism prevention plans.
So we're also asking the Homeland Security and Emergency Services to help us create threat assessment management teams, and that'll not just be law enforcement, but mental health professionals, school officials, and other key stakeholders to help identify and assess the threat of targeted violence. So you're going to leave here today with a real fundamental understanding of what these teams can do. I hope you will take that back to your communities, and as part of this, we're all keeping them protected. And also our extreme risk orders of protection, a different dynamic in one sense, but not really.
The governor expressed it will not only be law enforcement involved in threat assessment and management. Off-duty police officers are no longer allowed to carry their weapons while attending the New York State Fair. Guns are not allowed on the fairgrounds, but off-duty police officers were allowed to carry if they showed their badge on entry. An email was sent out to police departments across the state notifying them of the policy change. The decision was made by the State Department of Agriculture and Markets, not the state police. New York State hunting licenses are now available for the 2022-2023 season. Our Josh Feldberg spoke to a member of the Chemung County Rod and Gun Club to find out what hunting means to them.
Hunting season is around the corner for those in New York State. For some, hunting is a hobby. For others, it's a way of life. Big Fox spoke to Ken Andrus, a member of the Chemung County Rod and Gun Club, about what hunting has meant to him.
I think God blessed me in the sense that I was retired and my grandsons came along, and then I got to hunting and fishing with them. And I started them hunting, and To me, it's time that you can't buy.
The club has over 600 members, and it's this camaraderie that members like Ken believe is one of the best parts about being a hunter. A couple weeks ago, the club hosted the Youth Hunter Education Challenge Regionals as they try to connect more young people with nature.
The expression of seeing them kids when they come back with a pheasant is unbelievable.
I'm at the Chemung County Rod and Gun Club. The club has a shooting preserve for pheasants and other birds and a large forest to find animals like deer and rabbits. Some of the members use this game as a major source of food. With supermarket prices being so high, having this way of getting meat for meals is a big deal for the hunters. One member of the club told Big Fox they can use the meat for months at a time. For Ken and some of the members of the club, hunting isn't just about killing animals. It's about being out in nature and observing the animals. Josh Feldberg, Big Fox News, Chemung County.
Tompkins County Public Health has confirmed that a third case of monkeypox has been identified in a Tompkins County resident. The department said the case investigation is complete and all close contacts have been identified and quarantined. For additional information and resources regarding monkeypox, you can visit Tompkins County's website. And then there were two. The new Elmira Pro Box Lacrosse Team naming competition is down to the final two names. After weeks of submissions and voting, the two finalists you can choose between are the Renegades or the Huckleberries. You can vote for your favorite name at the PBLA website. A new report today showing inflation slowed slightly in July. But for many Americans, prices still remain uncomfortably high. Madeline Rivera has more from Washington.
Despite scorching temperatures, Americans are feeling some relief. A key report showing inflation cooling slightly in July, with consumer prices increasing by 8.5% over the last year, a slower pace than the 9.1% spike in June.
We're seeing some signs that inflation may be beginning to moderate.
I know DC is going to spike the ball today and talk about how this is a big win, but Main Street doesn't think 8.5 or 8.1 or even if it's 7.1 is a win.
The overall drop partly fueled by a decrease in gas and energy prices. The average price for a regular gallon of gas now less than $4, down from last month's average of about $4.66. But other costs remain painfully high, wiping out wage growth, which is up 5.2% over the past year. Many, including those with higher incomes, are hunting for cheaper options. Dime Brands, the company that franchises Applebee's and IHOP, says it's seen a bump in sales from households earning more than $75,000 a year.
Just like a few items from the grocery store, I'm still racking up like $200 bills, and yet I have like two meals to make for dinner.
And some economists say it's too early to tell whether inflation has reached its peak.
I think inflation is still a major issue and will be for some time.
The Federal Reserve will weigh the report along with other economic data ahead of its September meeting when it's expected to raise interest rates again. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
Still ahead, we have your complete forecast, plus how the scorching heat could be affecting your allergies. Stay with us.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Well, it has been nice to see at least some type of rainfall across the area. I'm meteorologist Alyssa Triplett. Now, it's not adding up to much as even the 5-day precipitation total does stay under 0.4 of an inch, as we will need more than that to definitely fill out the dry conditions we've seen over the last few months. But we will have another chance at some showers. However, today we were able to break into some of that blue sky temperatures. We're able to climb into the 80s as we saw that sunshine into the afternoon and the early evening. But through the overnight, under these calm and clear skies, more of that patchy fog and cool temperatures will fill fill in will drop to about 57 degrees, which is about on par for averages for this time of the year, as average does sit about 58. But noting some of that patchy fog, do note that you want to make sure to have those headlights on, travel with care in those early morning hours, and then by the afternoon, we'll be tracking some afternoon rain showers. But again, it is going to be very minimal accumulation, staying under 1/10 of an inch, as it is going to be a very weak setup. Now, there is going to be throughout the daytime, though, mixed sunshine, so on top of maybe potentially grabbing the umbrella just in case, you may still need those sunglasses, as sunshine is definitely going to be the dominant factor as we head into our weekend. Now, temperatures are going to be cooler. What's associated with those showers is a weak cold front, and the more powerful side of this cold front is going to be the cooler temperatures that are going to be filling in, as we will see high temperatures only within the 70s to round off the work week. And paired with that is going to be low humidity, so it's going to be comfortable air at that. Now, as we head into next week, we will expect to keep some of these cooler than average temperatures, but there could be some rainfall back into the forecast. So trending into looking at our Thursday, we see that we have some of that morning sunshine passing cloud cover, and then heading into the afternoon, starting as early as that lunch hour, there will be a chance for a few of those showers and a rumble of thunder. So as you roll through that forecast here, you'll see that it's a weak disturbance. It does develop just off of the Great Lakes, and then has some little peaks of maybe some brief downpours, but for the most part, pretty weak setup, maybe some lingering moisture into your Friday morning that will give us another round of some of that fog, as well as maybe a shower or two or more, even a misting pattern. So temperature-wise, as we have our conditions ahead of that frontal system, we'll be able to just reach about 82 degrees. If the cold front lingers a bit, we might warm up a little bit more. If it moves a bit quicker, we'll see some of those 70s fill in all across the area. But it's definitely 70s in place for the Finger Lakes, as those showers will arrive earlier. The later showers will be across more Pennsylvania. Temperatures through the overnight, then into Friday morning, we're going to drop well within those 50s. You could even see a few locations into the lower 50s. So that will be your coolest morning. As we'll see day by day, we'll grab temperatures a little bit warmer into the afternoon, as we still have that higher sun angle this time of the year. We'll look at a high of about 78 on Friday, so you're about 5 to 10 degrees cooler than you were on Thursday. So that cooling trend is in place. And then we see that our high temperature on Saturday is about 79 degrees under mostly sunny skies. Our forecast will start to bring in some showers on Sunday, but not expecting anything widespread until we'll watch the pattern that is going to be developing into middle of next week.
Elon Musk sells off Tesla shares ahead of his October court date with Twitter. Ford signs a new clean energy agreement, and Snapchat is giving parents more control. Chris Foster has these stories and more in today's Business Briefs.
Elon Musk sells nearly $7 billion worth of Tesla shares. The billionaire saying the funds could be used to finance the $44 billion Twitter takeover deal he backed out of earlier this year. Twitter sued Musk after he pulled out of the agreement over concerns about spam accounts. Both sides are heading to court over the issue in October. Ford takes its promise to go green a step further. It signed a landmark agreement to buy renewable energy from utility company DTE Energy. The deal will add 750 megawatts of new solar energy capacity at Ford's Michigan plants by 2025. This means every Ford car manufactured in the state will be assembled with the equivalent of 100% carbon-free electricity. Snapchat rolls out new parental controls. The social media platform launching a Snapchat Family Center, which allows parents to link accounts and keep tabs on teens' messaging. The new controls won't share private messages, but will allow parents to see which accounts teens are having conversations with on the app. They'll also be able to view a teen's friend list and report potential abuse to Snap's safety team for review. And Domino's Pizza is calling it quits in Italy. Bloomberg News reports the fast food pizza chain is shutting down all 29 of its locations in the country after 7 years in business. It reportedly couldn't compete with the popularity of local mom-and-pop pizza shops. Domino's hasn't released a statement on the closures.
Allergy flare-ups tend to be worse in the springtime for allergy sufferers, but doctors say the scorching heat could cause your allergies to flare up. Don Timoney explains.
There are several factors at play here, and for allergy sufferers, it all adds up to discomfort with a capital D.
I've been feeling like recently for the past since last week, actually, it's been real hot. 90s, 93, 95, 97s and stuff like that.
Tough to breathe?
Yeah, tough to breathe.
Ronnie Piedra works outside at Suburban Square in Ardmore and says this extreme heat is causing his allergies to flare up.
It does add on to that, yes.
Dr. Karina Bowser of Suburban Allergy Consultants in Narberth says there's a reason people's allergies may seem worse right now.
The warmer the temperatures, the more stressed the plants become, and we have actually found that there's more allergen per pollen grain. So yes, the heat itself and the warming can lead to differences in pollination periods and actually cause more aggressive pollen if you want.
Dr. Bowser says it's not the nicely blooming bee-pollinating plants that are causing problems. It's wind-pollinated plants, like trees.
Actually, I looked up tree pollen counts today. They're still high. Usually, tree pollen season is over in May. So we're now in August, and we still have tree pollen. That is unusual.
And she says that can lead to crossover allergy seasons.
So people who have tree pollen allergy and grass pollen allergy now maybe notice both of them together, and it's overlapping and causing more symptoms.
Whatever it is, Karen Fitzer, who suffers from hay fever, says besides the runny nose,
I certainly think I feel more cranky and cantankerous than usual.
While it's been unbearably hot and humid, it's been windy too. And Dr. Bowser says that wind is a culprit as well, blowing around pollen and mold, exacerbating allergies.
Still ahead, academic professionals sharing ways you can ensure your kids start school off on the right foot this fall. That story and more coming up. Well, if COVID-19 could get a grade, it would be an F. But as students prepare to go back to school this fall, many are still struggling to combat the massive learning gaps caused by the pandemic. Ted Linder has a look at how students are trying to overcome the setbacks as academic professionals share tips and tricks about how you can ensure your kids start off school on the right foot.
Pandemic-era learning setbacks once again rearing their ugly head, and the timing couldn't be worse as hundreds of thousands of new incoming college students prepare to start the next chapter of their lives. But many are still struggling to adapt to pre-pandemic academics.
They expected us to be fully acclimated to how it was before.
After many spent roughly half of their high school careers juggling remote learning.
I was more of going to online school to pass, not really to learn.
The transition was hard for students like Angel Hope, who started skipping out on his virtual classes. And while he recently graduated high school with good grades, he felt unprepared for college.
Part of me feels like I deserve it because, I went through that. But part of me is that I really get, the best education that I could.
Educators say students who fall behind in their learning have higher risks of dropping out of college. Not wanting to be a statistic, Hope enrolled at the University of Wisconsin-Madison's summer program, where he learned math skills he missed and developed important study habits. But regardless of what grade your child may be starting,
you have to be healthy, well-rested, and fed before you can learn.
Academic professionals say it's critical they enter school with a positive mindset.
Even if school has been a negative experience in the past, we're starting fresh and really take a positive, enthusiastic outlook to school.
And recommending parents stay involved with their child's class by volunteering, attending events, and staying active on the school's social media accounts.
The United Nations reports roughly 11 million tons of plastic ends up in the world's oceans every year, with overall ocean plastic pollution on the verge of tripling by 2040. And while large plastic debris is bad, microplastics are also creating massive environmental hazards for people and animals. Marianne Rafferty has a look at the unique robotic and scientific solutions helping to save the planet from the tiny debris.
At less than 5 millimeters in size, microplastics are tiny pieces of plastic debris packing deadly consequences for the world's oceans. And while real fish should not be eating the particles, researchers in China are developing robotic fish to absorb the toxic waste.
The porous structure of the microplastics attract harmful substances such as heavy metals, which amplify their toxicity.
The robot fish are controlled by light and can operate in shallow water, with scientists aiming to have them removing microplastic below the surface of the oceans in the near future. And there's no time to waste. Data collected by the Worldwide Fund for Nature estimates there could be 50 times more microplastic in the oceans by the end of the century. It's prompting scientists at the University of Barcelona to train community members on how they can help save the planet.
They are citizens that are training in how they have to collect
scientific samples.
Now, hundreds of volunteers are taking part in the Surfing for Science project, attaching special nets to their paddleboards and kayaks so they can scoop up microplastic before it's consumed by aquatic creatures.
The majority of the injuries that we do see is obviously ingestion of plastics.
Like this sea turtle recently rescued off a beach in Sydney, Australia, who veterinarians witnessed passing microplastic through its bowels for 6 days. But humans are also exposed to microplastics. The Worldwide Fund for Nature estimates people eat as much as a credit card's worth of plastic each week.
Stay with us. We'll have more after the break. As always, we want to leave you with a smile. If you love pickles, then this drink is for you. Sonic's Pickle Juice Slush is back. It's a combination of the flavor of a dill pickle paired with Sonic's classic sweet slush. Interesting. The drink is available to order now through August 28th. It was first sold in 2018. The food chain says it decided to bring the drink back because of how many customers requested it on social media. I'm Harriet Wallace. Thank you so much for watching.